Hello and welcome back to the Tired Truths podcast. First off, I'd like to say that saying tired truths every single week is like kind of hard. It's like low-key a tongue twister. Like tired truths. Like who picked that name? Cuz like are you kidding? Anyways, I literally got up like 20 minutes ago, so I am exhausted, but I thought the internet deserved the real life picture of what being chronically ill and the mornings looks like, you know? So, first off, I'm currently drinking some decaf coffee because if I have an ounce of caffeine, my heart decides that it's running a marathon for no reason at all, and I start sweating and the whole room starts spinning. So, I avoid caffeine at all costs, but I do love the taste of coffee. I love the vibes of coffee. So when I got sick, I was like, what am I going to do? So, decaf. It just gives me the same, like you're tricking your brain into thinking that you're having caffeine, you know? Anyways, before I was diagnosed, I was actually working at Starbucks and I was like so unbelievably ill because I literally had POTS and I was undiagnosed and was like trying to like just live life and was like literally falling apart. So I was like, the solution is I need more caffeine. That's why I'm so tired. I just need more caffeine. So I was literally drinking like 7 shots of espresso a day and I was like, that's normal. No, it's not. Don't lick your booty. That's yucky. So then after being diagnosed and everything, I was like, okay, we need to stop this. The caffeine withdrawal was like very real for me, but now it's no longer an issue. And now it's just like special occasions, or a Sunday morning. It's Wednesday, but anyways, on this topic, let's just talk about what mornings are actually like with a chronic illness, okay? So again, I woke up just a hot minute ago and you think when you wake up, like an average person wakes up in the morning and they're like, I'm so refreshed, I'm so calm, I just slept for 8+ hours, like, I feel amazing, and this is like obviously not every day, like, this is obviously not like every day. There are times where you have to get up, and when you have to get up early in the morning, like, duh, you're gonna be tired, but, like, we're talking like sleeping in, having a lazy morning, okay? You wake up and you're like, I am raring to go. I am happy, content, I'm ready. But if you're chronically ill, well, first off, let's go to the night before, okay? I am so unbelievably exhausted. My body hurts, my brain hurts, my head hurts, my toes hurt, okay? Everything is hurting. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I'm absolutely exhausted, okay? My head hits the pillow and I'm like, thank God, it's time for bed. And then I lay there. And then 20 minutes later, I'm still laying there. I am wide freaking awake, okay? I'm absolutely exhausted, but I can't fall asleep to save my life. And this is every single freaking night. And I think that's a really common theme for people with chronic conditions, especially POTS, because your like fight or flight system obviously is like going crazy. You're not going to be able to just immediately fall asleep afterwards. So falling asleep is a huge freaking issue, okay? After I lay there for like 2 flippin' hours and I finally fall asleep, I usually sleep through the night, okay? Then I wake up the next morning. Like this morning, I literally woke up at like 11 a.m. Like, that's late, okay? That's sleeping in for most people. So I wake up and immediately my shoulders hurt, my back hurts, I have to pee so bad, and I'm so unbelievably exhausted. Like, can't even turn over, my body hurts so bad because I'm so exhausted and tired. And even more, like, sleeping with EDS, like, I'm a deep sleeper once I sleep. So, like, if I fall asleep in, like, a weird position, like, my body doesn't fix it. Like, I don't think in my brain while I'm sleeping, like, oh, that hurts. And then I wake up the next morning and realize I've been, like, sleeping with my shoulder dislocated all flippin' night. And then I'm like, ow, not actually dislocated, but you get what I mean. So, like, waking up alone is not the jam, okay? It's not where we want to be. It's not the vibe. It's horrid, okay? Like, the stiffness, the brain fog, like, everything, it's just, like, not a pleasant experience, okay? So, once the eyeballs are open, okay, I need to get up. So, I lay there for a hot minute, rethink my whole life, complain to myself in my head, think about all the things I need to do, then I sit up, okay? I sit up, the whole frickin' world is spinning, Okay, because again, I have POTS. Okay, I swing my legs over, can't even hold my goddamn head up because I'm so flippin' tired. And then I eventually get up. Okay. I stand up and I immediately go to medication. Okay. I have to take my ivabradine first thing in the morning or my heart rate will go whack-a-mole. Okay. Because I've slept the whole night, so I don't really have any meds in me anymore. So, like, I need to get them in first thing in the flippin' morning. Okay. But it only can be some of them because if I take the other ones without food, I hurl my brains out or my whole body twitches for the next 4 flippin' hours. Okay. Figure that out. Get the meds in me, and you're like, okay, I'm doing a little better. It's freezing cold. Let me put a sweatshirt on. Let me get going. And then you like walk out of your room and you're like, wait, what am I doing? Who am I? Where are we? Because you're freaking brain fog because you just woke up. Nothing works in the morning. Your brain, your heart, your body, nothing works, okay? And then let's think about this. Let's think about the average life of somebody living in the US. You work and then you sleep and then you work again and then you go to sleep, right? For me, it's a little different because one, I'm chronically ill and two, I'm trying to get a master's degree, but still, you have to wake up and do something. You can't just lay in bed all day. I mean, you can, and it's a privilege that I am not laying in bed all day, and I will say that. But it's like we have this like whole hustle culture of like the early bird gets the worm and like I have to win the morning and all this like crazy stuff where it's like you're supposed to like go, 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 go. And that simply is not an option. Like, what do you mean I have to wake up at 7 in the morning and then be in class at 8 a.m. and you think my brain is going to be working and I'm going to be like functioning and being able to be like an intelligent human being? No! No! Like, my meds haven't even kicked in. I don't know who I am. Okay, like, did I even brush my hair this morning? It's like, there is no balance. There's no, this is easy. And so when I think of, like, everyone's like, oh, a morning, and oh, we have to, like, hustle in the morning. Like, that simply is not an option, Like there is like the realistic aesthetic of being chronically ill. Like there's no this like morning run, morning workout. Well, we're not working out regardless, but it's like we're not doing what the average person is doing. And then when you look at me, you're like, oh my God, she's so lazy. How is she not getting up in the morning and like getting things done? It's like, well, my body is like forcing me back in my bed, So that alone is like frustrating to deal with. And then it's like every freaking morning, I gotta do it again and again and again. Ugh. But what I think I've like learned in this is like when I was first sick, I was a minor, I was a child, I'm not gonna let my body define me. And then like I really actually became chronically ill and like you actually see the world for how it really is, and toughing it out is not really an option for a lot of people. So I think like that hustle culture that like we're all raised with, like that's just something that like I'm like, okay, I can't do this. You have to like make your own little like gentle morning type deal. Like I know when I get out of bed, I can't go full steam ahead. I know that I need to like allot time for my body to be able to like adjust to literally being upright for the day, So I think that's hard to deal with, especially when you have a schedule you need to get to, when you have things you have to do in the mornings, like stuff like that really gets in the way. Also, doctor's appointments. Why are some doctor's appointments at like 7 in the morning, okay? And especially if it's like the dysautonomia clinic, it's like, what are you doing? It should be illegal to make a POTS patient go to, illegal's a little stretching it, but it should be strongly frowned upon to have a POTS patient go to a frickin' doctor's appointment at like 7 in the morning. Are you kidding me? Ugh. Anyways, I kind of got sidetracked there. But it's like, it's so frickin' hard to have. I feel like I'm literally just like ranting and like being rude today, but that's okay. Like, having a normal life and a normal job is simply not a privilege so many people with chronic conditions have. And obviously that comes with a lot of issues because you need money. You know, you need money for medical bills and food and life in general, you know? So I think a lot of people struggle financially with being chronically ill because you're so limited in what you're physically able to do. And then the other half, I fear the ones who are able to work, they work, but they push themselves because they have to be able to get through the workday, and then they're like so unbelievably exhausted. And I know that's me, you know, and I know that's gonna be me. I think about like, I don't work full time right now, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm ever gonna be able to do that. Like, I genuinely don't know like how I'm gonna be able to work like an 8 to 5, you know? How, and then I think about like, okay, well, maybe I need to be looking for remote jobs because maybe that's like a better option, that like I need to be able to work with my freaking feet up, like stuff like that. And then it's like, well, then you can just get accommodations at your work. But even that is a struggle. Like there's just so many little things that when you're not chronically ill, you don't think about, that go into your day to day that like freaking ruin your day, you know? We all have like this concept of like grieving our old lives, and that's like so true. Like there are so many days that like I do grieve like my past a lot. But I also feel like I just have to figure out like how to like move in a slower pace, and that's okay. Like I have to be okay with, I'm not going to be at the same level as other people sometimes, and that's okay. Like I'm on my own journey, you know? Like you're doing your own thing, like I don't need to compare myself to others type situation. But basically that big roundabout way is saying mornings suck. And people who are like, oh, I'm a morning person, I'm immediately like, we're not going to get along. I'm so sorry. You know? Anyways. Do you live with a chronic illness and want to connect with people who truly get it? Check out Chronically Connected, an app created just for people with chronic conditions. Think of it as a giant group chat where everyone understands what you're going through. We have weekly prompts to spark real conversations. It's a safe space to ask questions and share experiences and build connections with people who truly get life with a chronic illness. It's simple. Click the link in the description to join. Just make sure you upload a profile picture so we know you're real. I don't know if you can see, we have our cute little Max with us, and we have the lovely Grinch pillow over there. I am a Grinch connoisseur. That's not the right word, but I love the Grinch, okay? I love the OG Grinch. I love Jim Carrey Grinch. I love literally every Grinch. I just love his vibe, okay? I love the grumpy man turned to this loving man, you know? And I do fear that, like, I may have some Grinch qualities inside of me, you know? I am a certified hater at times, and that's okay, you know? I'm aware. I'm an honest gal, you know? But, like, I won't hesitate to, like, hold hands with somebody around a freaking Christmas tree and sing Christmas carols, you know. I definitely would hesitate to do that, but you get what I'm saying, you know. But I also feel like when you are chronically ill, holidays are... Oh, first off, before I get there, did you guys see that the Jim Carrey Grinch is coming back to theaters because it's like their 25th anniversary or something? I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I went to a movie and, like, saw the little like sign, and I like immediately told my boyfriend, I'm so sorry, but you're coming to this with me. I must go. I will be wearing my Grinch sweatpants and my Grinch sweatshirt, and we will be going to watch the Grinch. So super excited. Anyways, I feel like after becoming chronically ill, I look at holidays very, very different, and you know, there's a lot of like grieving and loss in the process of becoming chronically ill, and really like being sick has really changed holiday expectations and how holidays work for me and my family. You know, I think a lot of people travel for holidays like Christmas. When people ask me like, oh, do you like to travel? I immediately say no. And I think people think of that as like, oh, you don't like to be new places. And I think for me, it's like, I don't want that change because I don't know what that's going to do to my body, you know? Like, traveling involves a lot of walking, which I can't do. There's a lot of new environments, you know? New trees, new mold in your house or something, you know, that's going to flare up like my MCAS stuff. You don't know what food is available, and when you have digestion issues and celiac, like that's a valid concern, and usually when you're traveling with people, you're not traveling alone, and all of these other healthy, able-bodied people have expectations for their travels and want to do all of these things, and you're like, I can't do that, and a lot of the times it's hard to say no, or you have to be the problem and everybody has to work around you and stuff like that. So I think traveling around the holidays is really tricky, but I also just feel like parties and family dynamics and just everything around the holidays is difficult. I think for me, something that I've really struggled with is my family does a lot of like prep for the holidays. Like we're always cooking, we're always doing things, and pre being sick, like I was always helping in the kitchen. I was always, like doing the Christmas gifts and like everything, like being so involved. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I am okay enough to be able to do a little bit, but it's like I really have to limit what I'm able to do. So, like, I can't stand there and cook for 8 hours like everybody else, and that's really hard for me because that's something that I do enjoy doing. But it's like, okay, well, now I'm sitting at the table and I have to keep saying, hey, can you bring me this? Can you bring me this? Can you bring me this? And then after I've made one dish, I have to go sit down for an hour because I'm absolutely exhausted from freaking pouring sugar in a bowl, just stuff like that. That's like you don't think about when you're healthy again, And I think I am lucky that I have a family who understands, well, kind of, as much as an able-bodied person can, but like they are willing to help me, they're willing to let me rest when I need to, stuff like that. My mom, I don't know why, maybe it's just because I'm her daughter, I don't know, and I've been sick for so many years. Like she'll look at me and she'll be like, "Oh, you don't feel good, don't you?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." So I hope I don't give off this like, "Oh my god, I'm so ill" face, But like she's just able to be like, "Girl, go sit down," So I think I'm like very lucky with that I have a family who's like willing to understand, but I also feel like they've seen me go through so much, and like that extended family and like the grandparents and stuff. That's definitely like a different story because again, you look at me and you're like, oh my god, she looks fine, so you don't see me fighting for my life while I'm trying to make freaking cinnamon rolls or something. Ooh, I should make cinnamon rolls this season, that'd be good. Anyways, I also feel that like parties are also a big issue around the holiday season. Like I feel like there's always like holiday gatherings, which first off I hardly ever go to as it is. When I think about going to a party, like whether it be a house party or like going out to a bar or something like that, it's like I have to be cognizant of like, okay, are there going to be chairs at this place? Like, how many people are going to be there? Am I going to be worried about getting sick there? Like, do I need to bring my own water? Do I need to bring my own food? Stuff like that. That it's like, what outfit am I going to wear that I'm going to be comfortable in, but also not be like self-conscious in? Or, like I'm not going to be too cold or too hot, stuff like that. That it's like, yeah, these seem like little things, but when it's a constant freaking daily issue that you run into, it like becomes just kind of like an increasing load on your body and your freaking mind that you're like, I'm just sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And I think there's a lot of guilt around canceling plans during the holidays, and that happens a lot because you're so overwhelmed with so many things you need to be doing that you have to cancel plans. And I know for me that's really hard, and I know for others it is, because I think we've all experienced with people that the more you cancel the plans, the less that invite comes. People just kind of stop inviting you when they think you're automatically going to cancel, or they're like, I don't want to invite her if she's sick and stuff like that. It's hard, And I really hate when people say, oh, I didn't invite you because I didn't want you to have to say no, or I didn't invite you because I didn't know if you were sick or not. I think for people with chronic illnesses, that invite alone means so much to us. It is so isolating having a chronic illness and living the life that we do. So I think any little outreach that people give us is always so validating. And that invite alone, even if we have to say no, we're like so grateful for. I literally hate when people are like, well, I didn't know if you wanted to come, so I didn't invite you. Or I didn't know if you were able to handle this, so I didn't invite you. It's like, just ask. Just ask me, and I'll say, hey, I can't do this. Let's do something else sometime together. Something like that, you know? Just like, why are we just like not inviting us because we're like too scared that we're sick, you know? Anyways, I also feel like with like the guilt during the holidays, I know at least like where I am at age wise, a lot of people are either coming home for college for the winter, you know, or just kind of like breaks in general. People come back home to their hometown a lot. And so there's a lot of like high school friends that come home for Christmas, and you know they're only here for a couple days, and you're like, this is my only chance to see them. So I know I kind of feel that like I have to, regardless of how I feel. I'm like, I feel like I have to go see them. And you know, when I have to cancel on those people, I do feel really terrible about it. There have been times that like I haven't canceled, and then like the next day I'm like so screwed because I've just like pushed myself so much the day before. So I think that's just like a crazy balance we have to deal with. It's like, how much are we willing to kind of like make our bodies feel worse for the people around us, you know? And even when you do go out and see people, you know, there's a lot of breaks that are needed, whether that may be, I know for me, a lot of times I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. And like most of the time I do have to pee. Like it's just kind of like an added bonus because I always have to pee. But like once you go in the bathroom, you know, it's quiet in there. The loud music, the loud lights aren't usually there. And it's like a second for you to be able to like literally like unmask all of the pain that you're in and like crumple onto the toilet for like a couple minutes and like take a deep breath, you know, pop some salt pills, and you're like, you can do this, you know. I think that's a very common theme when I go to the bathroom. It's like you kind of sit there and your whole body just kind of like crumples and you're like, oh my god, I'm so exhausted, you know. And like along the lines with that, I know I leave early for like literally everything. And I think that's hard for able-bodied people to understand. And I think a lot of people think it comes off as rude, as like, why would she be here? Like, why would you leave early? Stuff like that. But it's like, I'm lucky to be here in general. And like me showing up is the best that I could do, whether that may be 10 minutes or an hour, you know? And like I know I do feel guilty when I have to leave for things. And it's always like so awkward too. I remember this one like family dinner, I was like going through it. I was like pre-surgery, pre-everything. I was like, we were eating and we like barely started. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I need to leave. I need to leave. And I remember like just like standing up in front of my whole family. It was like 15 of us. And I was like, I gotta go. Bye. Sorry. And they're all like, what? What is happening? And then like, you know, like when you leave, like they're all talking about you. And they're all like, oh, is she okay? Oh, blah, 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 blah. That's just like, oh my God. Like sometimes I'm just like very sick of it. And I'm like, I just want a healthy body. You know, I think that's the theme. Like everybody's just like, we just want to live a healthy life and we don't get to. And sometimes you're frustrated about that, and that's okay. I think a lot of people are like, you need to be positive. And it's like, yeah, okay. But at the same time, like, it's okay to rant about how you're feeling. It's okay to be upset that this is where you're at in life and this is what your body does to you. You know, like, it's not normal for you to be like, this is great, you know, like, I love being unhealthy. I love having to do injections and take medication all the time and being sick every freaking day of my life for the rest of my life, you know, yippee! Like, nobody's like that, and that's okay. And I think a lot of healthy people don't understand that, and they give off the perception of like, you need to be strong, you need to be happy, and like, yeah, we need to be mentally tough because of what we're going through, and all of us are, because able-bodied people could not live like we live, but it's also like you can be upset about your living conditions and your quality of life, and that's totally valid. I feel like I really talked about like grieving the holidays and like grieving the things you wish you could do, but I also think it's really important to like make space for new traditions and things to work on. I will never not think of make space. When I think of that, I will always think of Wicked for the rest of my life. First off, Wicked, great movie. Okay, great musical, great movie. People who are hating on it, I'm like, no, why are you even here? Get out. Anyways, you know, I think a lot of us grow up going sledding and doing Christmas walks and things like that, that once you become chronically ill, a lot of these traditions have to shift. And I think finding new ones to kind of replace them is so, so important. I don't know why, but it's so important to me to watch the original Grinch on Christmas Eve. Every Christmas Eve, little stuff like that it's like you're able to do. I make a gingerbread house every year. That's a sitting craft that if you need to take a break, you can, things that are quiet and calm, I think is really important to continue to carry on that holiday joy, but in a way that is tolerable and that you can deal with, So I would like to say, and he'd kill me if he knew I was talking about this, but I went to Thanksgivings this year. I went to my boyfriend's Thanksgiving and my family's Thanksgiving, and that killed me. Okay, I was in a flare for 4 or 5 days. I was out for the count. So this year I'm going to his house for Christmas Eve, and then he's coming to my house for Christmas. And so I'm already a little worried about that. I'm really want this holiday to not end in a flare, and I fear it may, and if it does, that's okay, I'll get through it, but I know I'm gonna have to be extra careful about what I'm doing, what I'm eating, how much I'm really pushing myself, so there is just kind of in the back of my mind, I'm slightly scared. Also, I'm going to his house, and his mom is cooking, I think it's some type of pasta dish, but she knows I'm gluten-free. And for Thanksgiving, I was I've already eaten, it's A-okay, I don't need anything. But for Christmas, she really went crazy. And so she bought me gluten-free noodles and gluten-free meatballs and all of this stuff. And while I am so incredibly grateful, I'm also petrified, okay? I'm frightened, okay? Because, she asked me on Thanksgiving, she said, "Are potatoes gluten-free?" And since then, I've been scared, okay? And that's valid, okay? So many people who aren't gluten-free don't know what gluten is. I don't know why, but it seems to be this unknown thing that people don't understand. And so when he says, "Oh, she picked up some gluten-free pasta and some gluten-free meatballs for you," I'm scared they're not actually gluten-free, I'm also scared that maybe she's going to be making the other pasta at the same time, and then dump the ones in the wrong thing, and then she's going to use the same spoon and stuff like that, that you just don't think about that because you're not gluten-free and you don't need to think about that. So I'm a little frightened, and I also don't want to be rude and be let me see the box to make sure that's gluten-free, I fear I will still be doing that, but I'm scared, okay, I'm very scared. But we're going to get through it, okay? I'm also scared because they're opening Christmas gifts. And I'm what do you mean you want me to be there to open Christmas gifts? I literally said that. I was isn't that a family intimate thing? You really want me there? And of course, he's so nice. And he's yes, I want you there. I was so, and then he was oh my God, my mom got you a Christmas gift. I was what? So now I have to find them a Christmas gift. I'm I got to bring at least a housewarming gift. Just I'm already stressed now, it's 2 weeks away, and I'm already I'm already working myself up about it. And that's the other thing that I know will push me into a flare, that I get so everything needs to be perfect. I need to be perfect. They need to like me, even though they've already met me multiple times. But still, I'm I don't know why, I just have this idea that everything needs to be perfect. I need to be perfect. I'm thinking of my outfit already, and it's 2 weeks in advance. What am I gonna do to make sure everything is perfect? And then then stresses me out further, and then I'm worked up about it, and then the next day I can't get out of bed, So I'm super excited. And then even more, he's coming to my house for Christmas, and I fear my family is whack-a-mole, and we're just so overly sophisticated. I love it though. I love a beautifully set table. I love a home-cooked meal. But his family is getting everything from Trader Joe's, and we're going to eat and call it a day. My family, we're going to be cooking for 2 days, and then we sit and eat this meal for 2.5 hours. And so I had to explain this to him. I said, this is not going to be a quick 15-minute meal. This is going to be, you're sitting there for a hot minute, and we got old grandparents and unentertaining people. There's no little kids. There's no fun games. Like, it's going to be boring as hell. Like, is this really, really what you want to do? And of course he said yes, but I'm like, I don't think you're prepared. I don't think you're prepared for the turmoil you're about to go through, you know? But he said yes, so it's not my fault. Anyways, I feel like I was like really hating on my family there, but I wasn't. Like, I love our Christmas traditions. I'm like a crazy tradition gal. Don't know how it happened, but I'm like, I need every tradition. Like, I need it. I need it. And then when you think about your future and you're like, what do you mean? There's a man. You're like, what do you mean? I might not be able to do this. It's like, no. Okay, so compromise, not great at, you know? How did I start talking about this? Anyways, what's the date today? Like, literally, what day is it? I've been out of school because I finished my second semester of grad school, so I'm on Christmas break. I'm officially halfway through my master's program. I'm so freaking excited because that means I only have 6 months left, and that means I'm going to survive. Oh, next week is Christmas. Ooh, we're gonna have a Christmas Eve episode. Okay. Well, I guess that's like 2 weeks then. We'll have a New Year's Eve episode too. Nobody's going to be watching this podcast on New Year's Eve. Whatever, you can watch it the next day. It's not like anyone watches this in general. I hope you all are surviving the holiday season. I know it can be rough on a lot of us. If you are going through it, I believe in you. You can do hard things. You will get through this. And it's also okay to be upset at the position you are in right now. Yeah. Thank you for watching another episode of the Tired Truth podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Love ya.